Hello, my loves, and welcome back to BehatiLife YouTube channel. For meeting for the first time, welcome. And for those of you that are old friends and family, welcome back. As you guys can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be diving into the energy of this week, this moment. And although I'm talking about this week in present time, I've noticed over time that these readings are timeless. So if you are coming from the future present, welcome. You are here with divine timing. Trust yourself. We're not going to go too deep in astrological predictions today, although there is a ton going on astrologically. I saved those conversations for Behati Love Notes. It's my subscription service, kind of similar to Patreon. I'll leave the links down below, but let's go ahead and dive into this energy, shall we? Taking a deep breath. Oh, these cards wanted to come out. Angels and guides of the highest lights of the universe, I ask for... I ask for you to speak. Ooh! These cards are jumping. Speak to me through the cards, through my intuition. I'm setting intention for discernment for the collective. If you hear any playing in the background, that's my daughter with her daddy. It's the sweetest sound in the whole world. Wow, speaking of sweetness, we have the King of Cups in the center, 2 of Pentacles reversed, 3 of Pentacles upright, 7 of Cups upright, and the Knight of Swords. Can you please clarify the King of Cups for me? Excuse me. Page of Swords and the King of Wands. I know exactly what that is about. Actually, let's go ahead and pause. With the King of Cups upright and the Page of Swords reversed and the King of Wands, I immediately am sensing this week an emphasis on prioritizing your emotions, prioritizing your sanctuary, your sacred spaces, your listening to the vibes that you naturally pick up on, especially when you allocate and protect space that is needed for you to listen deeply in tune to your intuition. The next thing that I'm noticing 7 of Cups, Knight of Swords at the surrounding, the very far end. This is away from the King of Cups. The 7 of Cups represents confusion and being overwhelmed or bombarded by information. The Knight of Swords is the seeking of clarity and more information, right? It's so interesting to me, and it's so symbolic looking at this reading right now, how far away information overload is from the King. And although this is the King, this energy can show up in regardless of how you identify. If you are a woman watching this right now, a little lady watching this, you still have the King energy inside of you. This divine desire and this divine instinct to power protect yourself at all costs. However, if there's any type of shocks to that system that stop it from developing, which definitely happens in society, there's many times, more often than not, that we are taught to stunt our intuition and to stunt our natural instinct to protect ourselves. It makes us more vulnerable and susceptible to the will of others. Then you may find yourself second-guessing yourself and questioning what you intuitively know to do, to give to yourself, to chase, to pursue, to speak up. This is a week where you are being called into that sacred space, divine sacred space, and hear very loud and clear, without the influence of outside noise and outside influence, outside perspectives, what you need to do for you, how you need to protect yourself, what the spaces that you need to speak up for. It's interesting to me next, and I don't want to overstep or skip over the Page of Swords reversed in this little beautiful triangle that we have here. The Page of Swords, when she's upright, she talks to us about, again, discovery, curiosity, and sometimes spying. When the Page of Swords is reversed in this situation, you don't need to have any type of extra research or extra opinion or extra insight to confirm and vouch for what you already know instinctively, intuitively, deep down inside. Are you creating this sanctity, this sanctuaries, a special place where you consistently go to ask yourself first, where you go to the root, how does this make me feel? What does my intuition tell me first before I start asking for the opinions of others? I think that's something too that a lot of people, we don't do that enough. It's really important to ask yourself. I say we, but it's really not. I don't relate to this. I've always grounded myself and asked myself first, how does this make me feel? I understand what the research says. I understand what the doctors and the lawyers and the politicians and the business executives, I understand what they're saying, but my decision making and my power to choose and my power to build and my power to attract and my power to protect has always been led from intuitive decisions. And I encourage that from you guys. Even if you are someone who naturally and often practices this, it never hurts to be reminded. Especially for some reason this week, you're being led to remember this again. There's nothing wrong with doing extra research. That's a beautiful thing, and I highly recommend that. But don't ignore the fact, again, that Seven of Cups, Knight of Swords is at the surrounding. If this was like you here, this would be the hula hoop. And it's just going around you. But the center of what is making things go is your intuition and your power and your instinct. And those things cannot be compromised. The other thing too that I think is really interesting, that the King of Cups and the King of Wands is standing firm alongside, but it's not inside of them. Let me say that again. It's standing alongside them, but not inside them. There's a boundary. There's a clear separation. There's a distinction between them and the outside world, them and they. The Two of Pentacles is reversed. This is the card of juggling. This is the card of trying to make it work. It's a card of standing still and figuring out the balance so that you don't drop the balls. The Three of Pentacles is the expectation of partnership, teamwork, and coming together, working together cohesively. However, with the Two of Pentacles reversed, I think there's a strong message here about not having to factor in, compromise, and juggle for the aspect of these outside perspectives. Two of Pentacles is the card of either A, we cannot juggle right now because it's physically impossible, or B, we shouldn't be juggling right now because it's not good for you right now. This is not the way. This is not the path. There is no additional information that you need to look and seek to confirm and reassure you on what it is that you know. Trust your instinct first and foremost. And then, King of Wands, fiercely protect that instinct. That's what is going to be guiding you and leading you this week. Now, for some of you guys, you may have an instinct, like a feeling, a sense of something, and Chariot card here. This has a lot to do with the direction of where something and how something is going to be moving into the near future. It's interesting because the last few weeks when the Chariot card comes up, I've been seeing it more as balancing the shadow and the masculine energies. The feminine, the shadow, and the masculine light energies. Especially with the Two of Pentacles, this card has been showing up as well. But now, after listening to that advice, heeding that advice, practicing it, now there's no more balancing and juggling that you need to be doing. Now it's about action. Now it's about movement. For some of you guys, I really feel, I'm hearing the word gaslight. Like, don't gaslight yourself or allow yourself to be gaslit by others who don't necessarily benefit from or want to see you standing in your power. I want to be really careful to make sure it doesn't sound like I'm speaking against others, especially people who genuinely care about you. Sometimes, this is why it's so important to have boundaries. Sometimes the same people who care about you, they don't have ill intention, but they want to make sure that you are protected. They want to make sure that you're okay, but it doesn't really give you the space to figure out and to live your life and to walk your journey and to do what you feel called and what you need to do. And those are answers that can only come from within. So this is why the message does feel very gentle but firm in saying, really try to root yourself. And at the very bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Really try to root yourself and build yourself from a fertile space of intuition that doesn't factor in the noise, the voice, the opinions of the outside world. If there's information that is bothering you, things that you don't have clarity on, things that just don't vibe and don't sit and they're not sticking with you, or if they are sticking with you, you don't like the way that it sticks. These are things that is an answer all by itself, saying, I don't like the way this makes me feel. I don't feel like I'm being prioritized. I don't feel like I can trust. I don't feel like I'm being respected. That in itself is enough to then call the shots on where you move next. Now, another thing too that I've noticed when I'm doing readings for other people and when I talk to people through healing conversations and through readings or just friends and family, they'll say, well, if I'm moving forward like this, how can I get this person to respect me? Excuse me. You can't get anybody to do anything. They're going to need to walk that path themselves, choose to walk that path themselves. If they choose to respect you and if their actions reflect respect, then that's one thing. That's really not your, that's outside of your control. And you loosen your power, you give over your power, you hand over your power, trying to convince, pull out, and activate respect from a person, especially anybody, but definitely in a space where you should be enforcing boundaries and just realizing again, like, okay, me walking away isn't because I want to change what you do. Me walking away is because I'm trying to change how I feel. That's what I can control. My inside, right? That's where my power comes from. So really keep that in mind. That's the message for today. If you guys feel like you're having an issue with relationships or anything like that, this is really, walking away will give you clarity on that. Also, for some of you guys who are in businesses or you're looking for great ideas, walking away from it will give you a lot of clarity. Going to that sacred space and enforcing that creative time, that innovating time, that pre-planning time before you step into the week or the day is going to root you very successful. It helps you get very clear on what is important to you. It helps you intuitively structure and block out your time. Someone else is really being very productive right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into these animal energies. These cards make me laugh right now because of the reading that I just did for Behati Love Notes. I can't even get in. If you know, you know, but I'm going to do their reading next. Again, links for Behati Love Notes is down below. I shuffle and pull for them every day, every other day, except Sundays. Okay, Vulture Spirit, nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. When you read that, when you hear that, does that feel good? Or does that feel like I don't want leftovers and scraps? I really feel with this card that it just kind of varies depending on the person who's receiving the message. So I don't want to pinpoint this. I'm listening to my intuition here. I'm not going to pinpoint this and say what this is about. For someone here, this is about circling, and I hate that word, but seriously circling back and also taking a step back and examining your week, your energy before you start planning. And I'm also seeing how giving yourself structure and boundaries with your time allows you to go deeper in your work, allows you to be more creative, allows you to be more inventive, intuitive. What's the word that when someone's able to pivot, like they're just really flow, like in the move, like they're in the ease and the flow of things. Anyway, that's really important. There's a lot of structuring of time that I'm seeing here, like, and not allowing yourself to be distracted or to procrastinate. Oh my God, I heard doom. So I think that's like doom scrolling. Interesting. Parrot spirit, watch your words, but also watch the words that you're reading, watch the words that you're listening to, watch what people are saying and reiterating. Oftentimes with the parrot, they repeat. People are just repeating what they've heard, or the voice, the shadow voice that only speaks to them their fear, their limitations, their subconscious blockages. Don't make that your reality. That's not your reality, that's theirs, and that's for them to deal with that. I also feel like if someone has an issue with you, or they're unclear on something that's going on with you, where you guys stand, I'm getting another message here about that's for them to kind of figure out. With the King of Wands and the King of Cups showing up here, they're really not concerning themselves with smaller issues that are not important. There's bigger things that are important here that need your attention. So if you're seeing reiterating parrot-like energy, if you're seeing someone who's looking for something in you, like around you or from you, this is not in the cards. Yep, there's bigger things afoot here with the scarab beetle. Magic works through you. I also want to remind you that the scarab beetle is also known as a dung beetle, and they lay their seeds in the ball of dung, so a shitty situation. And from that, they pull themselves up magically, instinctively, in alignment with astrology, with the alignment of the planets, the stars, the moon, and they reemerge. And I just feel like for so many of you guys, giving yourself that space to emerge, to grow, to be divinely aligned is so important and so special, and something that you deserve, and something that you should be protecting. I don't say should, but something that you're encouraged to protect. So I do see this strong theme coming through for you again and again. All right, my loves, that is the message for this week. Do take time with this. I think if you're looking for a journaling prompt, the question that I would ask myself is, what is my intuition? What do I sense that my intuition is asking me to focus on right now in my life? Where do I compromise my path for reassurance or the voice of others? What have I been working on instinctively, intentionally, that I can sense is the fertile ground for my future? How do I enforce boundaries today? And what do I sense is the greatest threat to those boundaries? Even if that threat is coming from me and my bad habits. What would those bad habits look like? So if you would like to go deeper, more consistently, again, Behati Love Notes is the offering for you. If you love magic and intention oils, these are the dark feminine ones. The Sacred Anointing Ritual Box is something that you should look out for. Well, not should, but something that you're encouraged to look out for. I'll leave the links for that down below as well. Until then, please make sure that you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, because there's plenty more videos where this came from. And I'll see you in my next one.